Hi guys, happy Friday night to you. Last night I was talking about the drive kick going to the leg. Tonight I'd like to present it going to the body. Now when somebody puts their hands up, you see where the elbows end and you see where the top of the hip ended, there's a little bit of distance there. There's also the hip flexors, the nerve centers there. If they raise their hand up, there's obviously a floating rib or whatever organs there. On this side be the liver, on this side be the pancreas. If you get to the side, it's also the kidney if they're facing you sideways. Now, remember with the drive kick, the object is to come forward. It's not so much to come around. That's the main difference between a round kick and a drive kick, although it comes from the same family. The main thing too, when you're throwing the drive kick, is you're going to bring your knee forward, and you reach forward with your knee, but only what the hip joint allows. You don't extend like you would like a front kick or anything like that, because that puts you off balance when you do make contact. The other reason for that is too, is when you're coming forward, your hands are ready to go. Elbows, finger jabs, punches, grab, whatever you want to do. That's a nice reason about the drive kick. And you're adding all your center weight into the kick. And remember, the motion goes up and down. And so what we're going to be practicing on today, I took the arm off for now. If you notice these black lines, if you can see them, this top black line here represents my elbow level, or approximately. This tape mark with the black line on there is approximate hip flexor. The hip bone or pelvic bone will actually be a little bit higher up in here. But what you're aiming for is this area here. Now, if you can fire the kick off while the punch is extended, then you have the whole rib cage area. But you want to focus lower, not higher. If you can hit that floating rib, great. If you can hit that liver, great. But remember, this kick itself, like I explained before, or yesterday, it comes in. It doesn't so much come around. And when you make contact with your upper shin, you're going to be extending your shin bone a little bit so that you torque the person's waistline, in this case the bag. If you have a standing heavy bag, you can actually make the bag spin if you do it correctly. And when I was taught how the ideas of these kicks from my Thai boxing coach, his name was Manny, and he used to train at our gym, and he's an Aikido guy, and he did shoot fighting and all this stuff. And I was introduced to him by John Felton, one of my other teachers. And he said the object is when you throw that kind of a kick, there's a cylindrical torque when the shin hits the body, not just hit it and come back, but you torque, boom. So you actually roll in your leg too as you make contact, and it's devastating. It has a ton of power, but it needs to be understood that that's the way it's supposed to work. And then also too, you have a lot of balance because you're basically on top of your opponent. And this same thing, like I demonstrated last night, can be done at the leg. But again, remember the object is up and down. In this case, it's in and turn. The same concept. Your hips will do the same thing. What you don't want to do, you don't want to come around and wide with it. You don't want to bring your knee around. It's too easy to block with a push kick, or an elbow block, or this kind of block. What you do want to do is bring your knee forward, like you're almost going to throw a front kick. Your leg is already starting to rotate or pivot. And then as you extend the leg, you'll shoot it forward a little bit. Now granted, you don't lock your knee or anything, it's not like that. You just start to extend it so it's a push after you make contact. And then you try to synchronize that so that the push and the contact are kind of simultaneous. And it's a twerking action. And it's powerful. Plus it also, you will move your opponent. And that's the whole idea. You're overwhelming them. You're also attacking their center line, which is the idea. You're not just meeting their surface. Like somebody kicks me in the leg here. It's not just meeting this. If I crunch down, I'm going to bounce off. This is designed to come through me. So I have to deal with it. And then the other thing is once people can discover you can kick really hard this way, they don't want to deal with it. It's too painful. And so you have a psychological aspect of that too. And if this is a self-defense situation, it makes real good sense to keep everything low and real definitive with power and torque. Don't try to hit with your instep or your boot. Hit with the top of your shin bone and come in with authority. And then, once the kick lands, their hands come down, elbows are into play, punches, hooks, uppercuts, that's all into play. Plus you can keep turning them and hitting them with your knees too. So that's what this is designed for. Okay, so come over to the back. Right, remember the little black lines I showed you. So what you're going to practice doing is, remember the leg kick was down here. Okay? See, with my knee is about here, top of my hip bone. The leg kick was down here, right? But now we're focusing on the waist level. So the kick's going to focus more inward. But the trick is you're not going to come up like this. You don't want to kick up. That's how you hook your leg up. What you want to do is you want to bend forward. See? As it comes forward, that's what you want to do. You want to practice that. But you want to practice the kick coming in, not around. So that's the main difference. Okay? When you stand, you can move. You can come straight in. You can slip the punch a little bit and just keep it. Okay? And so if you notice, I'm hitting with this part of my shin. What I'm practicing doing is trying to hit the waistline. Now remember, target acquisition when the hands are up, be the short rib, the pancreas if I'm southpaw, the short rib, the liver if I'm conventional. Okay, remember, we're not kicking the legs at this point. We're trying to hit under the elbow or the pelvic area. Now, the half kicks, when you see people do round kicks and they're coming up, they're designed to come under the elbow. The problem with that is you can hook the leg up. It's a lot harder to grab the leg with this style of kick. Much, much harder. So, again, right? You practice it here. Shift your head offline a little bit and practice bringing your knee in. So when you kick. Okay? Come on. You see how my weight falls into the bag? And when you kick somebody like that, it's easier to keep your balance because you're bringing your center forward, but you're coming in a balanced motion. And when you do it with a heavy bag, you start putting a big dent in it. This is a standing bag, so it's designed to flex. But the idea is you have to keep your balance better on this bag. But you learn how to come straight in. That's the whole idea. So if I'm here like this, now if I want to do this side, okay, I can step and switch feet. You want rear-legged power, right? Same thing, come straight in, bang, right? And notice I don't have to lean so much. This side I can, right? This side, see the idea? And so you practice shooting it in. And that's really the main difference between an obvious round kick, because you've seen people do it if you work out with this stuff. And it's kind of obvious. The round kick comes in, you can check it and hit them. You can step in and punch it. But when they throw it and their knee is coming forward like that, it's much more difficult to deal with. So they can also hit you very easily with their knee. So as they come forward like this, it could be a knee spike, or they can shoot the knee down on your femur bone. Boom. Okay, that comes from Hapkido. Very painful. So this is why I like these strikes, because where it leaves you, and I'm a short guy, so I have to work my way in most of the time if I want to control the situation. Or I control it at the end of the limbs, not anywhere in the middle. And so I've always had big, tall, strong instructors. And if they don't let you in, you can't get in. But what you can learn to do is target the limbs. Well, this is kind of the same idea, but I'm targeting their core when I come in. And their other limbs being their leg destruction, or hip flexors, or kidney. So again, remember, shoot the knee in. Don't bring it around. Shoot it in. Okay? Always try to remember that. And let your hands float. You don't want to be rigid. Try to never be rigid. The only time you're ever going to be rigid is if you can't move, you see a leg kick coming, strengthen your muscle. Boom. Okay? Try to time it so as it's hitting it, strengthen the muscle. That also makes a spring to counter. Okay. Anyway, thanks for listening. Again, thanks for following me on YouTube. You can always email me with questions. I'd love to hear what anyone has to say. Critiques too. I'm also a student. So billyboston@gmail.com or combatfitnessworkshop@hotmail.com. Okay? Anyone have a great Friday night. Try to stay out of trouble, but have fun. Take care till next time.